Okay, welcome everyone. Good morning, buenos dias. It's always a pleasure to have the chance to share in this time something, well, quite interesting, has been in for years like a mystery, where are the Mayan portals and how can we access to them? Okay, so I ask you for a moment to close your eyes. Father, Mother, heart of the sky, heart of the earth, we are here to you with open hearts. Send your Holy Spirit to all my brothers and sisters. In this moment, in this meeting, touch their hearts and their minds through your Holy Spirit, that we can deeply understand the sacred meaning of the portals, dimensions, black holes, and goes to the other dimension. What is the real meaning for us? And what is our state in this time to arise our frequency to that very special state to trespass to another dimension. Please, Father, Mother, guide all of us. I ask with all our hearts and minds together as a beautiful family, receive our love, respect, and honor, and at the same time, the dimensional Mayan teachers who came from another dimensions, from the Pleiades constellation, Orion constellation, Sirius. Thank you very much. In lak'ech, alake. Can open the eyes. Well, I would like to begin this with one of the most interesting stories about a portal at Chichen Itza. Everyone knows that Chichen Itza is nowadays one of the more than 7 wonders in the planet, in the world. But especially it's pretty famous, the wells, because the Mayas built up the Kukulkan pyramid between the two wells. Well, the references that I am talking to you is connecting with the oral tradition. And this is not written in any book, but this is part of the teachings of my teacher. One day I was with Don Vicente Martin in front of this sacred well, and in front of the well there is a small, beautiful shrine, like a temple. And then I was checking there, and there is a little window and a little entrance. And then my teacher explained me that is the place where the Mayas perform a ritual of cleansing to arise their vibration before to do the ceremony. So I asked, what was the ceremony about? What did the Mayans do that? And he explained me that the cenote is a portal to another dimension. And the way that the Mayans use it is to prepare themselves, before with fasting, meditation. And the last part is to enter in the sweat lodge to arise the vibration and to be in a specific vibration to do something quite important. They prepare the ceremony. This is going to be in June 21st, summer solstice, when the sun is perpendicular connecting with the cenote. It's something like this. Okay, you see the light, the perpendicular enter in the center of the cenote, and it's opening a portal. It's opening a dimension that if you are ready, you can go. And if your mission is to go to that dimension, you are going to be there and to come back. This is just the idea that you have about the cenotes. They have more than 2,000 just in the state of Yucatan. So what happened? Then the people after the sweat lodge, they they were in a platform there, and they are going to jump. When they jump inside of the cenote, there is the portal is open, and they disappear. And the ones who have the chance to come back after that experience, they were considered, wise men and wise women, because they went to the other dimension and they have the chance to come back because God's will to tell the story and to share the story with the rest of the people. When I was talking with a group of elders about the mystery of the disapparition, the ascension of the Mayas, I asked them, where did the Mayans go? And they said, well, let me tell you that there were three levels that the Mayans went. The first level was part of the Mayas went to the sky, a group of them. The other group descended. They went to the wells, into the underground cities. And the other part stayed in this third dimension to wait for the Spanish arrive. But there is a beautiful reference from a Mayan elder who said that knowing that a period of destruction is coming, they sent an entire population to a place that is known with the name of Pachil Kayala, who is like the Maya Eden, like a dimension who is connected with another frequency. So I have a definition. What is a portal? Is other dimension where time, space is configured in a different way. A portal is other dimension where the time, space is configured differently. That is more or less the definition of Mayan portal. So the reference of that is that space, time, and frequencies is therefore not the same like in other dimensions. One day, I had a beautiful experience in connection with the sites, with the temples and pyramids. And the teacher said that in every sacred place, there are areas where hold or preserve with the idea that, for example, Chichen Itza, Uxmal, Palenque, this is a connection specifically with certain stars or certain dimensions that in any moment when the stars, time, and space coincide, they are in that connection, and that sometimes this is the moment when people ascended, when people disappear from this dimension to another. In the Yucatan, I visited some families for a time, and then I decided to visit a family who has a loss of her daughter. When her daughter was 7 years old, she was at the entrance of her home, and a kind of whirlpool came, robbed her, and she disappeared. So the family was, imagine, so worried, because she disappeared physically. So they brought the shaman, and the shaman did a ceremony, and he said to the family, she's not dead. She's living, now in another dimension, but she's coming back in 7 years. And when she's coming back, she will tell her story of that dimension to all of you. 7 years after, I visited the family, and they said the daughter came back. But she stayed like 6 months without to talk. just in silence. So they asked them, are you okay? He just moved the head, yes. But she didn't talk any word after 6 months when she began to pronounce and to say the experience in the other dimension. And she said that in the other dimension, things, are not equal like here. They have another shine, frequency, brilliant, are more alive than in this level that we live. And I understood, that there is the time and space that we are referring, the portals have another frequency. So we arise our frequencies to that. In the year 1897, a person who is very well known in some aspects of the archaeological aspects, his name was Augustus Le Plongeon, and he arrived at Chichen Itza in 1897 with the purpose he were looking for treasures in that time. So he arrived there with his wife Alice, and little by little he was involved in the Mayan community at Chichen, and he discovered that still in that time there was an spiritual group in that area that they called themselves the group of the red bands, the spiritual group who keep some secrets. And he said that as he learned the Maya, speak the Maya, he just have the chance to go in different areas of Chichen Itza and Uxmal. And one day, walking in a very narrow path, in front of him, 300 meters, there was a shining, luminous ball of light coming in this way. In front of him, suddenly stopped, and from that beautiful, luminous ball, there is a Mayan teacher came out. He said that in his memories, you can check it, Augustus Le Plongeon. And this is another of these great things, that you ask yourself, what is that dimension? We all know and have a kind of interrogation asking, about something that, for example, great physicians, talks about the black holes. And teacher said the black holes are vibratory nucleus on which the universe is based. So the base of the nucleus of our universe is in the black holes. So that thing who will produce, and we see these amazing black holes, there is in reality the womb who produce the light, the stars, and the solar systems who come from that vibratory nucleus, which is basically the DNA of the cosmos and the universe. So how fascinating is to know that the Mayas discovered precisely one of these warm black holes close of the Pleiades constellation, who contain most of the stars, planets, and many other things close of this place that they consider a dimension connecting with the name of Pashil Kayala. That is the name. Pashil Kayala is a Maya portal who they said part of the Mayas ascended with physical body close to 800 AD, and they were there. The teacher sent to them because the arrival of the Spanish is coming. So in the massive ascension of the Mayas is through the oral tradition a fact. Is something that the Mayan elders, the shamanes, the priests and priestesses connecting with that sacred energy. Pachil Kayala is like the Eden, is like the paradise. Pachil means the music, and Kayala is the singing. So then with music and singing, with that beautiful rivers of milk honey, the Mayas ascended to another dimensions. So that paradise exists in the Maya tradition with that name. So what happens in one day in Pachil Kayala takes 1 year on planet Earth. One day in Uxmal, years ago, a group of Italian arrived. They went to see the light and sound show. And when they returned after the show, one of them was looking the pyramid. And then they returned to the bus. The guide said, "Oh, how many are we? Oh, we are 29. Oh, we were 30. Where the other one? Oh, we watch, we can say, Luis looking the Uxmal pyramid." Jose. The guide went, checked around the pyramid. He was not there, checking the bathrooms, etc. He didn't find him. He called the guides, the guardians. They enter, look up, down, all around. No Luis. Then they called the police. The police came, the federal police came. All night they check every hole around. Disappear. Until now, he is in the other dimension. Because they call a shaman, the shaman said exactly what I talked to you about the girl. He is not dead. He is in another dimension, and he will come in 7 years in front of this place, and he will check his clock, say, "Oh, 10 minutes, I am late, 10 minutes." So the time space is quite differently. So we can enter in that level and say, "Oh, it's only 10 minutes." And maybe you come back and see 1 year ago, you're living in another space. And that happened. Many times that happened, when we enter in that frequency, when you are in that frequency, you lost the time. You enter in another frequency. How many of you have had experiences in big meditations that you don't know what time is it? And even to lose the time, we accepted to enter in that frequency because there is something. One day, we went up of the Kukulkan's pyramid, and part of my friends was a woman with a beautiful pair of sandals. I remember in blue color, like very Egyptian. So we went there and do a meditation. It was the night. I had the permission to do it. And in the moment when we decided to come down, one of the sandals of this woman went down. And we listened, you know. So, oh. So we descended. There was no sandal. And all we look all around with lights. Where, it's here. I listen. No sandal. So my friends, a guy said, "Oh, please check. It's a sandal, blue, etc." We never found the sandal. Where did the sandal go? There was no people. There wasn't nobody there. So that means that there are dimensions that in some moments enter in that frequency and you can be ready. You are ready to pass. So all these experiences are important, because we are now living this. So what is a dimension? The dimension. What is a dimension? An atomic area with different vibration and energies that penetrate and compenetrate, without being, confused. It's like the symbol of the snake in this way, and in some point they could be connected, and this when you pass from one time to the other time. How many of us we have had experiences in that level that to enter into another frequency and to really feel that there is something in that moment that remember us very well, experiences or memories from another time or from another moment. So these are areas that correspond, to the teachers to give you specific experiences. And in experiences like one great friend of ourselves who had the chance to visit the underground cities in the Yucatan. He visited the place that is called Agarti. He went to underground cave and he entered in a certain gardens inside of the cave. When he watched and saw cacao fruits, bananas, mamey, and oranges, and all these fruits underground, he said, "What is this place?" And he watched the animals that we have exterminated on the surface. They are protecting in the underworld. It's something unbelievable, but that exists. So they said that when we are ready, we are going to receive the help of the people who lives underneath. And remember what I told you, some of the Mayan people descended to the live in the underworld. Some went to the stars, to the Maya sun in the Pleiades, to Pachil Kayala. So when is the time that I consider we really see physically a portal? A moment like this. This is the temple of the seven dolls at Sivichaltun. Willie been there. You sure, Willie? You been in Sivichaltun? This is the equinox. This is the equinox. The moment of the sunrise in March 21st, September 21st. That is the moment for me that if you are there, you can really trespass your vibration and frequency and really goes to another dimension. And if you are ready, let me tell you that there is a process that you can really activate your physical body to enter in the process into another dimension. But you need a process of preparation in a physical body that the Mayans call the Jaina state, Jina, Jinas or Jaina, is the frequency that you need to enter with the physical body in that dimension. So, but you need a preparation, you need a process of cleansing, you need a process of meditations, rituals, etc., in order to prepare yourself to enter. What is our main problem right now? That we have lost our frequencies connecting with Mother Nature and the cosmos. Because we don't know. We don't know what is happening. We don't know with the trees, with the animals, what's happening with the moon, the sun, the eclipses. We lost that frequency and we need to recover. So this is an amazing thing. We visit Tikal, and in Tikal there are entrances to the underworld. And this is like an entrance, a chamber in Tikal. You see here clearly the sun. In certain moment, fortunately for us, look what happened. The sun penetrates exactly in the moment that we were inside, and all of us, we lost our consciousness in the third dimension and entered into another dimension. I remember to see teachers in another dimension there with purple bodies and blue bodies. They were there with us in that moment for 5 minutes. And for all that day, I was like vibrating in another level. I just want to go to the hotel and stay there for the rest of the day because my frequency rise to a moment that all my cells receive the frequency of that dimension. So still now, we have places in the Yucatan and in our area, imagine 2,000 caves and 2,000 cenotes, wells, and 2,000 pyramids and ceremonial centers. That is why Yucatan is so powerful in that sacred energies. The ones who knows our state knows that only Merida, the capital, has around 1 million, but the rest of the state is still in a very natural energy. What is the key to know if you have a portal or dimension close to you? The key is always there is like a natural frequency, like a sweet frequency, and there will be signs like, for example, the sound of the bees. And you are walking, where are the bees? No bees. The aroma of the flowers. Ah, where are the flowers? No flowers. The sounds of flute, music. Somebody's playing music. Nobody's playing music. They said that they prepare the person to understand that that person is living close to an area who has a portal. And sometimes like whispering, who comes to you through the wind, to the wind. Somebody wants to tell you something. All these are like little signs that I can tell you to you. Or sometimes in the Maya land, I've heard, for example, somebody send you a stone, and then it's, who sent me a stone? And nothing is there. The illusions, the spirits are preparing you to enter into another frequency. Okay? So in this area, for example, what happened at the solstices at Chichen Itza? This beam of light, you see here, is opening a portal in the observatory, because this is like a laser, a beam of light who enter in the moment of the sunset, but is in motion. It's like a laser who is going from the west to the north. Stop it, open the window, open the portal, and then slowly descend it. Come back and disappear. That happened at 4:45 p.m. at the observatory of Chichen Itza every winter solstice. It's a portal who is opening that moment. December 21st, 4:45 p.m. That is the entrance of that beam of light. Is that all coincidences? So that's all, it's coincidences? No. There is something else who exists. Do you think that this shape of the Mayan arts represents something? There are portals to another dimension. You see here clearly like the pyramid, and then the square, the foundation, and it says exactly the point of your seventh chakra to activate a portal to another dimension, activating your pineal gland. That's why in many traditions you see the teachers using conic huts, adornments with that energy, who activate and receive the energies to enter into another frequency or dimension. The Mayans did it in a big scale. This could activate a lot of people, 1,000, 2,000 people in one ceremony, reactivated, because this is a cosmic antenna who open a door, and in the door they will be receive of opening for the ones who are ready. What is the request? Love in your heart. That is the only request. No money, no profession, nothing. Love in your heart. That is the ticket to go to the next dimension. That is the moment of that. In one of the visits to Nachancan Palenque, uh, we were there one day doing a journey, and somebody took this photograph. And you see here the light, the beam of light descending over the temples. And that is the experience we had in connection with the ascension of the Mayas in Palenque. How did it happen? There was a moment when the Mayan teachers, in plenty preparation before, with the right vibration, they did in the upper part of Palenque a ritual with a crystal like this in their hands, like this. And in this moment, that frequency comes connected with the crystal and opening the energy of that master, and the sound was like, and then they began to ascend it to the beam of lights, to the spaceships, and go. That is one of the great gifts of the crystals, to activate and to amplify your energy. So the type of energy that you have is going to be amplified when you use your frequency and even transcend to another states of being or to another dimensions. That's why of the most beautiful parts of the crystal. So those beams of light descending, creates this atmosphere. And even sometimes in places like Sivichaltún, when the sun is exactly there, you can see inside something like this. Balls of green light here, 1, 2. In the moment of that, you see inside of the ark beams of light in green color or balls of instruments like spaceships that to connect with your consciousness. So what happened here in the past? In this moment, if you are ready, they open your third eye. Your clairvoyance is activated in the moment of the spring equinox in the sunrise. That is exactly the eyes, the pineal gland, and your third eye. Always using the light of the sun, and sometimes the light of the moon. But all these arcoastronomical phenomena, as they call, they are spiritual activations of the people who is ready. The people who is ready to connect with those beautiful energies. Visiting Chichen Itza one time, we were there, and this area, there is a portal here. It's a white, like a white circle to shows right there. So once in a while, you can see them. The same in the big cenote. There are the same things here. Entrances to another dimension. And sometimes, one day I asked one of my teachers, how can a shaman can go to another dimension? And he responded to me something that still is a challenge. He said, a shaman could go to another dimension, just looking to a place where is water. The temple of the warriors reflected in the water in the yard of Chichen Itza. This is an entrance to another dimension. The reflection of the temple in the water after raining reflects a portal on an entrance that if you have enough power to do that, you can go. And there are formulas, there are mantras that I know that we can use it. But what is my purpose? Do I really want to go? Or do I really want to stay? What is my function? What is my purpose? What is my task? What is my mission? Do you know your mission? Do you want to go? Or do you want to stay? What do you think? Okay? So there are so many aspects. But I would like to begin to give into you some of the mantras. The first mantra to use to enter in the Eden. In the Eden. That is the mantra to sounds omnis aum. 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 With that mantra in the right frequency, you can enter in the Pashil Kayala, in the level of that frequency. In the Yucatan state, we have two little towns that they are called the neighbors of the world, of the neighbors of the planet. I know that maybe some of you visited Cusco, Peru. Cusco means the belly button of the world. It's the same here, Choquén and Maní. Choquén and Maní are the belly buttons in the Yucatan connecting with the planet. And in Maya, they call U Tuch Lum. The mantra is U Lum, 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 U Lum. What means Ulum? Holy earth, holy land, the belly button, connected with the sacredness, with the frequency of the cosmos. Ulum, Ulum, Holy Land. And then when you go to a mountain, you go to a forest, you go to a river, you go to a cave, if you pronounce this, you know, Ulum, there is a connection immediately with that sacred energy who exists in every place in the planet connected with Mother Nature. You know, Choquén and Maní is like Cusco, you know, and there are many others navels of the world in Africa, in Europe, in the United States. Maybe that's place who is very famous in Arizona. I don't remember the name.
I think it's called Sedona.
Sedona, and there is another one who has a lot of round Anasazi. The Anasazi. Yes, yes.
Chaco Canyon.
Chaco Canyon. I think that is a portal there in Chaco Canyon, you know. So all these areas, the Hopi Land, the Navajos, the Lakotas, still have their own portals. And you know what made a portal? One of the things that now you will understand is when you do rituals and ceremonies and pray and meditate, you can open a portal in the place, even in your home, because the frequencies begins to restructure the vibration, the atoms, you know, who exist in your home, and begins to vibrate in another level, and then allow you to enter into another frequency, and even to trespass to another dimension. There are many cases that now people is sharing, you know, in different areas. Portals in the wells, portals in areas of water, like waterfalls, for example, rivers, lakes. In our case, the wells, the cenotes. The mantra, La Ra. 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 Okay. Portals in caves and pyramids. The mantra, Sin Uru. 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 sin uru, 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 sin uru. Let me clear something. The way that I do these mantras is the way that I feel. My energy goes in that way because I was instructed to do, and I received in a specific way to do in this way the Mayan mantras. But you can use the rhythm or the intonation of your voice in the way that you feel connected with the vibration, you know, like maybe slow, sing, uru. You know, if you feel like that, or you feel more grave or more, you know, depends of your voice, depends of your frequency. I don't have rules really. I just want you to listen, you know, the sound, and to apply according with your own frequency and vibration. It's like the mantra Om, who is very famous. Om could be Om or Om. Om. It depends, you know. Om, 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 Om. Depends on what you feel. So I just want to clarify that in order that you have the freedom to experience these mantras and to prepare the frequency according with your being. So what is uh, the mantra for yourself as a human being is this: Lil. We are vibrational beings. We need Lil. Lil, 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 lil. Lil 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 and you feel the ascension of your personal energy, and then ask Father, Mother help you to connect with the well, the lake, the river, the cave, the trees, the forest, the mountains, the temples, the shrines, and you choose the mantra that you consider that is the right one with that level. So that's why it's always important, like to have a moment of silence and meditation in the side, and to connect with the divas, to connect with the beings who are there, and to feel what is the right mantra. The first thing to do is to begin with my personal preparation, to raise my frequency to the level that I could be ready for that. You know, there are stories, that there are still many temples, like the story of the Holy Grail, who is based in a mountain in Europe, in Spain, who is Montserrat. They said that the Holy Grail is still there in a shrine inside the mountain, and only the ones who are ready in a personal vibration, spiritual, they will have a chance to open that door in the mountain and to enter where the Holy Grail is still there. So just imagine the magnificent things, the dragons, when I had one day in a personal vision, to enter into a well in my dream. I went in the well. I was swimming in blue water, and I went for a time, and arriving in a certain area, I went out, and I was in a cave, and then I listened some sounds, very very strong sounds, and the intuition said me climb up, 5 steps up, and there was a hole in the mountain. And when I watched what is the sound came from, there were dragons, two dragons making these sounds. So I was in my vision was very strong, and then suddenly said, I'm going to be quiet because they could listen to me. So I descended steps, get inside the water, comes back to the place. Later, I found, that the oral tradition said that Yucatan, the wells and caves, pyramids and temples, are connected with prehistoric times. And I was like, oh, wow. So I did a trip, in the portal. So I went to visit the prehistoric dragons. So now I want to ask you any comment because the time is, but I really want to share. Yeah. Geraldine?
You have to unmute, Geraldine, if you're going to.
Okay.
I was just laughing a little because when you were saying the two dragons appeared, these two birds just flew right down. I'm like, what? And birds are like dragons anyway. But also last night when I was going to bed and just thinking, and just do my thing, and I heard knave, and I went, navel, and I started thinking of all the different meanings of knave. In that way, right, in different places. And also, I use crystals, and definitely different, like when you were talking about using the crystal, now I work with different crystals, and they come to me. It's like I've evolved over years. I didn't use the crystals I could use now. I wouldn't even know how to use them before. You know what I mean? And so you kind of evolve in your use, and they come to you when you need the ones you need, come to you. And you'd be, wow, but there are definitely certain crystals that send you out so very quickly, and you combine different ones. I have these ones right here but that's not for going out too heavy, but and then I'll also practice and say, well, let me see, can I do this without any crystals? Which I could do that too, but definitely crystals enhance, and different crystals will enhance your energies, and and so many are for so many different things. And I love all that. I love it. And there are times that I go, like last week, I lost 2 hours and I was awake. I wasn't doing anything. I just went, where have I been? What time is it? Where was I? You know, like that happens to me often. And then I'll go into meditation sometimes and come out and go, that long? What? Where to me, it felt like 5 minutes.
Wonderful.
You know what I mean? But it's been
Wonderful.
a couple of hours. Oh, like, okay. And
Gracias.
I
Gracias,
work with
Geraldine.
crystals a lot.
Right?
Thank you, Geraldine.
Thank you. Thank you, Miguel, because you helped me so much with so many things. And even though, you know, I don't talk about it, but
I know.
okay. I know you know. I know you know a lot of things too that I don't talk about. If you know what I mean.
I have just a quick question. When you're asking about, do you want to go? Do you want to stay? I want to be a bridge that goes from
Right.
dimension and back. And I think a lot of people here are nodding their head with that.
Right.
I think I've really started with Lady Set Cook and that going to another dimension, basically to get her messages and then bringing them back. And I think many of us who are alive in this lifetime have come because we are bridges to the different dimensions and different stories out there. So thank you. Dana, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, how many dimensions are there?
Well, the Mayan said we had 13 dimensions.
13, okay.
13, yeah.
Well, I think there's more than that.
Probably. We
I
don't
think
know.
that the Buddhists say they're like levels, there's like 333,333 or so, you know, it's this big number like that.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it's correct.
Michael, were you wanting to say something? I thought I saw your, no? Oh, I thought I saw your mic off.
He's in another dimension.
I was just going to ask if everybody came back
Michael
to this dimension.
is now in another frequency.
Does somebody else want to say something?
I
Jaden?
mean, Trudy, Don Miguel, thank you so much. As a lover of words, I just appreciate all of the terminology and all of the definitions of portal, of dimension, of, you know, of the vernacular, of the vocabulary that we're using when we're speaking about this consciousness. That now because I like to use words with intention too. So I like to know what I'm talking about.
That's what I
Thank you so much for that.
you're sharing, yes. Anyone else?
There's someone else.
Beautiful, beautiful light coming into the cenote at solstice time. So it would be more like at noon, yeah, when the sun is at meridian or zenith. So wow, it would be so powerful to be in that water, in that beam at that time, just because I have a thing about, I like alchemy as far as blending water and fire together. It's one of my things I like to work on. and that's like, so like,
it can be
right
arranged.
there in it, you know?
It can be arranged. So just.
Oh gosh, believe me, it's all about the pandemic. Believe me, it's all about that. You know, I'm not going places, but I'm just watching things. But and the other thing was, well, I hope you do. You're thinking of possibly having a tour and then going in the light.
Of course, there is always
Yes, that's what I mean, is everything's possible, so.
It's just so amazing that is so amazing to me. The other thing I wonder always about cenotes is how deep you can go in the water and what is down there. Can you be entangled in something and not be able to come back up?
Normally you don't know the deep, but what I can tell you is that there are dimensions inside.
All right. Underwater is very
deep, is to another world. So maybe it may be to another planet. or maybe to another universe,
Another time.
Right,
another time,
right.
you know. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't know exactly where I am or what time it is. Like sometimes I think I'm on another planet and then I'm like, when is this? You know, I don't know if it's future or past sometimes.
yeah. It's,
I'd like to hear from Christina here before we go, because I think she had, Christina, you really, when we were in Yeshalan, that must have been, that must have felt like another dimension.
Yeah, well, I was up there at Temple 33, where the 330, whatever it was, who was at that. Well, it's interesting. I really wanted to be listening to this because I'm writing a book right now about all of my experiences in the fifth dimension. And but that wasn't actually what I wanted to talk about right this second. What I wanted to say is that it's so interesting working with time right now, because what I found is that, you know, if I need more time to get something done, it's possible to just extend time. I've found that
Slow it.
you can make much more time if you want to, or you can speed it up. It's just amazing. And so I've been having a lot of fun with that actually these last, few years. So I just wanted to mention that.
wonderful.